Have you ever walked away from a sermon, a Bible study, or a full ministry season and thought, we covered a lot, but did anything really change? I've wrestled with that. When I was pastoring, we worked hard at teaching. Solid sermons, thoughtful curriculum, clear content. People were learning, but I couldn't shake the question. Are we forming disciples or just delivering information? Because it's easy to assume that if people understand more, they'll naturally live differently. That's not always true, is it? We can fill notebooks without shaping lives. We can explain the gospel without people embodying it. We can teach about Jesus without really helping people follow Him. And over time, we start to mistake information download for transformation. That's the discipleship void. It looks adequate on the surface, but underneath something's missing. Because Jesus never said, go and make learners. He said, go and make disciples, teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. Teaching them to obey. That's a very different goal. Not just understanding, but compliance and conformity to God's Word. Not just information, but formation. Not just content, but Christ-likeness. And I had to face that. And in doing so, I realized much of our teaching has become isolated, age-segmented, one-directional, detached from family life. Is this God's plan for the church? Or is there a way to move from a knowledge download to transformation, to reclaim teaching as Spirit-led, Jesus-centered, and shared across generations? What if instruction wasn't just something we delivered, but something we experienced together? What if children, youth, and adults weren't learning in silos, but alongside one another, contributing, asking, modeling, and growing together? Because disciple making isn't just taught, it's caught. It happens in relationships, in conversations, in shared practices. It happens when a child sees faith lived out, when a teenager participates and contributes, when an older believer shares hard-earned wisdom. This is how we learn Christ, not just in theory, but in life. When teaching is immersed in the gospel and practiced in community, it begins to form something deeper. People don't just know what Jesus said, they start to live it with joy, with conviction, with growing faithfulness over time. So here's the question we have to ask. Are our ministries transferring information or forming disciples who obey Jesus? And maybe the harder one, where has our approach to teaching fallen short of that calling? Because closing the gap requires something more than better content. It takes honesty to recognize what isn't working, and the courage to reimagine how we teach and make disciples. And this is where renewal begins. Because the ultimate goal isn't to inform people, it's to transform lives. And that's the vision behind my book, Integrated Ministry, Reclaiming Generational Disciple Making. So if you're sensing the gap between information and transformation, if you're looking for deeper faith formation in your church, I'd invite you to explore what that could look like by examining integrated ministry, because there's a more biblical way forward.